Our DeMaTEL is almost done. How we have done that? In the Excel, take the expert opinion, take the average, one table of all the expert, import it into the RStudio, run the one-line code, execute DeMaTEL. First two tables skip, the raw data and the initial normalized data. Next two are important to me. First, I am talking about this table, relationship between the criteria. In the relation between the criteria, C minus R gives me DV and IDV. Negative values are DV, positive are IDV. C plus R gives me importance. Just in order of their importance, I have done the rank. I have done a couple of things in R. What are the things? Text to column. First part I have done. Make a chart. Use the rank method. These 2-3 things, Excel operations I have conducted here. Now let's talk about this chart. In the chart, first, let me put a border of the chart. So that's not such requirement, but just to see it closely. Second thing is, all the factors are into this from 0 to 20. Since the minimum number, it seems, is 14.7, we can do this thing. Click on this, right click, format axis, and I can ask it actually minimum value to start with 10 instead of 0, start with 10, so that they are somewhat okay. Or maybe you can start with the 12 or the 14 something. You can make your own thing. The second thing, it's okay from 1 to 1, or you may decide it as this is okay. Likewise, click on this. Remember, in Excel, when you see a chart, it's not one. There are 7, 8 elements are there, which can be manipulated separately. Like this y-axis, right click on that, click on the y-axis, right click on that, format axis, and I'm saying from -1 to +1. Okay, that's okay. Now these are below the line, so these two are the DV, upper one are the IDV. One is at the bottom center. What are their names? So click on this data label. You want to give something names like C1, C2, etc. So in the data label, it says more option, and here is the option value from cell. Now where are the value? These are the values. Okay, and remove the Y values. I think it's okay. Something like that. So on the top, there is the C1, C2, C3, C4 are the IDVs, and 5, 6 are the DVs. 7 is something like a standalone, just on the border and very much away. Remember, on the y-axis, what is the thing? On the y-axis, we have the importance. Oh, sorry, on the x-axis. X-axis, we have the importance. So if we make a 2 by 2 table, so let me go to the insert. In the insert, I'm inserting here the line, and the size of the line is a black color and little more size so that you can see it clearly. And one more line I'm putting somewhat here at the center. Again, it's of black color and little high thickness. I hope you are able to see it properly now, this chart. In this chart, just like in the ISM we used to work, the same is the things here. On this particular block is the less important. These are more important. These are IDVs, these are DVs. 4 things we get. C1 is something independent variable which is less important as compared to C2, C3, C4, which are more important. These are important DVs. In this block, we got only one. Neither it's important and it's a DV, so we can actually skip this. This particular zone we can skip. They are sort of autonomous. They're not really concerning others and not very important also. Now the question comes, can we make an arrow from where? Who causes whom? Now this is a question. Here, where the arrow will go, this second table will be helpful in that. The second table will tell me where to go for the arrow, which arrow to go from where. First table tells me who's the DV, who's the IDV. This is the table number 1. And table number 2 will tell me where from the arrow will go and where for whom. How to read this table? For this table in the R, we are given just below the table a value. You may skip it. It says threshold value. A threshold value is 1.14. Let me take this value. Threshold value 1.14. This value will be used threshold value. And what is the value? Value is 1.1426 something. Now what I will do, I will make this table once again. This table, I'm making it once again, paste it here. And this time I'm saying any value more than threshold, if the value here, this value is greater than equal to the threshold value, then it is considered as an effect, else no effect. If this value is greater than threshold value, then it is considered as an effect, else there is no effect. Check this out, what I have done. Okay, so what's the mistake I have done? Mistake is this M11 I must lock. Okay, now this comes as the effect and the no effect. I'm using conditional formatting, highlight greater than 0. Check this out. Two tables we get. What is the first table? C plus R, C minus R. It gives me, these are the DV, IDV, these are the importance. So first thing is this particular thing. I had the two research question and my both things, who are the DV, IDV, what are the critical success factors, independent variable, important, all are answered by this table whose name is relationship between the criteria. This table answers all of them. How to read the DV, IDV? A value of C minus R. See, in the entire table, only couple of values are there with minus. So don't worry about that. This column, with the minus value, they are the DV. With plus value, they are the IDV. So this first point is sorted out. Second point is who's important. So this C plus R gives importance, give the ranking of the same. Next, make a chart of C plus R, C minus R. Done. You can cross check. You can do it in Excel. And R also gives you the same. C7 is here, 1 is here, 2, 3, 4 are very near, 5 and 6 are very near. Check this out. Exactly same chart I have made. Now we will make some sort of arrows. How to make the arrow? Here the second table will come. Normalized initial direct relation matrix. How to read this table? There is a value of threshold given. Where is it given? Just below this value. Just below the normalized direct, and there is a threshold value. Any value more than this means effect is there. So when you say whether C1 has an effect on this one, C2, C3. So if more than threshold, then it said there is an effect, else no effect. So I simply used a if function. I said if we find this value is greater than, please see what is the formula. If H2, this value 0.87, is greater than equal to M11 threshold, what is dollar? Dollar means lock. If it is greater equal to 1, else 0. So I get these values. Now I will make this sort of the arrow. So let me see if I can take this chart here so that now I can make arrows from C1. Okay, probably I need one more thing here. Let me copy and paste the stuff here. Transpose. From C1, there is an effect on C3, C5, and the C6. How will read? It's always read. Read always from like effect of row on column. The same thing we were doing in ISM, and the similar is the way here. Effect of row and column. This will be read. C1 has an effect on C3. By the way, C3 has no effect on C1. Only one-sided effect is there. So from C1, there is an effect on C3. So insert, help me in drawing these arrows. From C1, the arrow will go to the C3. C3. Okay. And we can actually make this of one particular color. You can use some others also, a tilted arrow, etc. I'm just showing for representation. Then there's another arrow on the C5. So there's an arrow on the C5 from C1. From C1, I'm making an arrow on the C5. Done. The color is this one. And then from C1, there is an arrow on C6. So insert in the format. This one from C1, I'm doing it on C6 also. There is an arrow. Let's go to the C2. From C2, there is an arrow on C3, C4, C5, C6. From C2, now let me go back. This is C2. There is an arrow on the C3 key. Let me change its color. its color is blue. Then another one, it's a C4, also it's a blue color. Then there is a effect on the C5 and the C6. So from C2 there is a C6 blue color, and then there is a effect on the C5, there is a blue color. Next one, from C3, there is a effect on C2, C3, you can put the arrow. One interesting thing here I want to share with you. There is no other technique that talks about the reciprocity. Look at the C567. C567, if you look closely, these are the DV. And here we are saying C5 has an effect on C2, 3, 4, and all of them. What it means? This is a case where a dependent variable also have an effect on the independent variable. Now, this is something no other technique will talk about the reciprocity. Let me give you an example in this regard. Example we have taken, we can take this example from NIRF. Now, before I go with this example, any questions so far?
Yes, there are a couple of questions from Nancy Katiyar.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
The first question has got two parts. It says, sir, kindly tell how it comes that diagonal has to be 0.
Okay.
And the second part is any reference for it.
Okay. So first thing is the diagonal has to be 0 because we say the same variable will have no effect on itself. There is no meaning of it. If I'll say quality has an effect on quality and loyalty has an effect of loyalty, we see no meaning of it. In the ISM, if you are present, Nancy, there we were saying that you must put it as 1 because of the assumption level partitioning table can be made only when you take the diagonal as the 1. Otherwise, there also, while making for the final graph, we converted the diagonal as the 0. So diagonal will be 0, and the reference of that is practically in every paper. So you can see it's given here also in this paper, diagonal value is always 0. Here or diagonal value. Nobody will ask you reference for that. Actually, it make no sense that this has effect on itself. So, but a couple of papers are there, you can refer to that. Yeah, next question, sir.
Okay, she has messaged that she got it. The second question from Nancy Katiyar is, sir, kindly tell how can we move C7 to either upper or lower side?
No.
Or is it showing medium effect? You remember you showed the diagram? Yeah, the graph. Yeah, in the C7. Correct.
We cannot make it upper and the lower. What the people have given from their computation, this value. I have not changed any of them, Nancy. Just check this out. R Studio has given me this table. And from the table, I plotted the chart. I have not made it as upper and the lower. I can't change. See, it is here. Probably she want to ask something else.
Yeah. Okay, I'll move on to the next part, what she has asked.
Yeah.
Sir, kindly tell, are these quadrants have different names?
You can put your name yourself. You can put the name as on the vertical. These are the low important, high important, and vertically y-axis. This is independent variable and the dependent variable. You can put. I think it's very clear here. Low important, high important, and this is something called independent and the dependent. Please mind a vertical line make a horizontal line is on the 0. That makes sense. But vertical line I have made for myself. Means their question can be how I put it on 15. Well, I just put on decide how much you are taking from 12 to 18. I just put on at the center of that. There is no such rule where to put the vertical line, but certainly it will, if vertical line is removed, even then you see there is no effect on the DV, IDV, they will be still the same. But yes, there is something more important and less important that you can put a line anywhere. That is your point of cup of tea. Next question, please.
Okay. I have a question. What is the purpose of taking the rank? We took the importance of C plus R.
Yes.
But we have not used it in any other calculations.
Yes, sir.
As we have used only the C plus R and C minus R for the graph, as well as the C minus R for identifying the IV and DV based upon whether they are positive or negative values. Correct. So the ranking that we have done is not used anywhere. So what should be the purpose of it?
The purpose of it is, sir, from the management perspective, from managerial implication, we will like to tell them 1-2 things which are very important. Remember the papers I have shown you, the paper said to find out the critical success factor, means not all the factors. We are going, if I have to go for 1, 2, 3 factors. So ranking will tell me these are the factors where you should focus more attention on in this order of, like seventh is, I remember, is the pharmacist advice. So pharmacist will not be that important. Just check it here. So I'm going for what these 7 factors are. So here, if we have to tell to the management, so seventh one comes out as pharmacist advice. That is not that important as which one is the most important? C3 and followed by C6. So 3 is the trusted medical staff with the professional competence. That's the most important. And then 4, 5, 6 medical staff with the professional ability. That's the second one. These 2 are the most important one which a management should refer to. And the same they have written in the here in this part, sir. If we read their conclusion, they are writing based on the table 3. Before I go further, just see, sir. This is the 19 people. This is the 19 people data. They have taken the average of the data. They use the DeMaTEL, and DeMaTEL, they have shown you the 2 things. One is this table. Prior, this table is not of use. This is intermediate calculation. This one is the table. Why we will use this table? Just here, they must have given something as the threshold value. Can you see that in the third line, a threshold value, 1.2836. So using the threshold value, here we will find out where the effect is there, where not. One, this table will be referred. And second, they have referred this table number 3, R plus C, C, R minus C. And then there is this diagram, which I'm trying to make. Let's read their conclusion. They say, based on the importance of the 7, C is greater than F, greater than E, greater than, this is on the basis of rank. So R plus C value. So it means now they are further writing that first of all, management should focus on the C, that is the professional competence of the healthcare, which is the most important, 19.4. And the pharmacist advice on taking medicine is the least important. In contrast, equipment, surgeons, these are important, like that. And second thing, here they are providing the second, which is the cause, which is the effect. Well-equipped medical equipment is a key criteria, since it's not only a cause, but also affected by the other. Improvement in the well-equipped medical equipment will result into the where the effect arrow will go. You'll write those, and this way it will be written. So the purpose of the ranking is to give management idea where they should focus more. That is the point.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
So sure. I'm showing you the effect of reciprocity. I will just quickly take you to the parameters of NIRF. I'm taking this because this is a very recent and this is a very contrast effect. In case of engineering, just see how the marks are given. So there are 500 marks with some sort of weightage to that. So here they have given the weightage. Teaching, learning 30%, research, professional practice 30%. Now this is the job of AHP. AHP will give you weightage like that. And in that there is one perception, 100 marks with a weightage of 10, means 10 marks are there. 10 marks for the perception out of the 100 marks, right? Now with that, let's go further. So let's go to the ranking and see who has the top ranking shoots in India. I'm looking for the engineering for a moment. In engineering, the topmost is the IIT Madras. So how they get the perception? They sent it to all sort of the academicians and the industry people, ask them that please tell us about these issues. So what is their perception rank? IIT Madras, 100 out of 100, 100 out of 100, right? And if you see any other, let's say IIT Roorkee, what is their perception? Their perception is 65 out of 100. You take any other, if we just go a little down, NIT Trichy, what is their perception? What people think about NIT Trichy? It's 68 out of 100. And mind it, it's very important, 10% marks are there. And in NIRF, one rank is equal to 5 to 6 places. Means one number means 5 places, just like the JEE marking, etc. Now, what is happening? Since IIT Madras is coming at the rank number 1 from the couple of years, So all experts give its rank as the perception as 100 out of 100. And this 100 again make it as the rank 1. Can you see reciprocity? Rank contributes to the perception and perception contributes to the rank. Everybody will see, okay, who was the last time number 1? Let's give there's 100 out of 100. So even if you say what is about the NIT second rank holder, Delhi, what is their perception? Their perception is 98. Again, you will find those who are topmost, their perception is again topmost. So perception is causing rank and rank is causing perception. So this is a sort of a reciprocity which no other technique will talk about. Remember, in the ISM, there is no backward arrow. Arrows go on one side. But here we are saying, no, a dependent variable might cause the independent also. If you want a good brand name will have effect on your employee policies, and policies will have the brand name. So they have an inverse or a reciprocal relationship. This no other technique will talk, only this will talk about. The same they have made, the same sort of diagram they have made here. So arrows which A has effect on B, B on A, put a two-sided arrow. And they have not used, but you can make the different colors arrow so that you can really show that where the effect is going, which one effect will go. So this is all about the DeMaTEL. DeMaTEL is complete now. What we have done in the DeMaTEL, take the expert opinion, come to this part, take the expert opinion from the experts. This is the point we discussed. Take the expert opinion, get the pairwise comparison of the factors. How to get the factors? There are the 3 methods. First method is go for the SLR or go to the experts or conduct a survey for the same. It's always good to write the definition of that factor along with their example and the references so that people are on the same page. Collect the data into the tabular format 0, 1, 2, 3. Take the average, take that into the RStudio, 2-line code, require DeMaTEL, attach data, execute DeMaTEL. It will give us 2 tables and a value. 2 tables are, one is relationship between criteria, R plus C, C minus R. This is importance and DV, IDV. And the second will tell, this table will tell where the arrow will go, where the effect is there. Any value more than threshold will be the effect, that is 1, else it will be 0. So this one will be shown. And what to write? The same 2 things are written. These are the factors, these are their importance and how they affect. Focus more on the reciprocity because no other technique talks about the reciprocity. So focus more on the reciprocity in this case. So that's all for DeMaTEL. Now you can ask your questions.
Okay. Nancy has a follow-up question on the same. She has clarified that. She's asking, can we move the positions in the graph by applying any criterion to see the effect of DV and IDV?
Still, it's not clear what is meant by move. The data is given by experts. RStudio has computed and made a graph. Where is my role? Why Nancy thinks I can move it up and down? Nancy, why do you think I can move C7 up or down?
Yeah, I think she's only specifically asking about C7 now for up or down.
Yeah, but how can I decide about this? Experts can decide, but how can I decide?
Yeah, for example, if there are 2 values who are same or near about the same.
They will be exactly on the same dot. We have seen the cases where the 2 values were exactly on the same dot. Doesn't matter. It means, remember, these are the cases which should become the second order. They are highly similar. So you should cross check if 2 values are coming just like the same, people believe it exactly the same. Are they really 2 or you have taken it as 2? You can go for that. But you cannot change any of the computations. Experts can, not you.
There are a couple of more questions from others.
Yes, sir.
The next is from Kangan Jain.
Yes.
Does DeMaTEL also give a conceptual framework like ISM?
Yes and no, Kangan. Yes, in the sense we have a DV and the IDVs, and we also know who influences whom. unlike the traditional definition, here DV can also influence IDV and vice versa. No, in the sense that ISM gives you a hierarchical model. The A will lead to B, B will lead to C, C will lead to D. There is no such thing given here. It's just these are DV, these are IDV. Remember what I have written? It tells you DV, IDV as a bundle. It won't tell you about the mediator or other stuff. It won't tell. It will simply tell you the bundle of that. So answer is yes and no both.
The next question is from Priyanka Agrawal. How do we interpret the relationship between the DV, which has an effect on all the IDVs?
Yes, it means that particular thing is something. Let's see what is that DV which has an influence on all. So let's go to this, and the value comes out as which DV? DV is probably 5, 6, 7. Let me cross check. Yeah, 5, 6, 7 is there. From that 6, 5 and 6 has an effect on almost all except 1 and 7. So they have effect on many. So 5 and the 6. Let's read from the paper. What is 5 and the 6? So well equipped is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Detailed description of the patient condition by medical doctor and medical staff with the professional ability. These are influencing each one of them, all of them. Just check this out. If you, I have not written the complete one. The first one is well equipped medical staff, C1. Now check it out, Priyanka. C1 is something we put into this block. We put means from the expert's opinion, C1 is into this block. Please try to understand what is this block. The first block says, what is this? This one is the low important independent variable. Generally, you will find, Priyanka, just like the ISM, this one is the starting point. This is the trigger point. Just like when you play a carom, Priyanka, the first person with the striker starts the game. Likewise, any variable which will make sense here is the starting point. What it means, in this case, the starting point is C1. What is C1? C1 is the well-equipped medical equipment. It means, does this C1 depends on anything else, Priyanka? No. No variable has an effect on C1, but C1 is influencing couple of them, 2, 3. What is meant by the well-equipped? The first one, it says medical equipment. Priyanka, medical equipments are something, they doesn't depend on anything. Maybe that doesn't on the hospital administration, their budget, their financial things. But once you have the medical equipment, it will have effect on couple of things. So this doesn't depend on anything. So C1, from my experience, I have seen, Priyanka, the first block, independent variable which are low important, this first block is something where it is the starting point. C2, C3, C4, very important independent variable, and they are influenced by C1. It means they are the intervening variable or the mediator. And C5, C6 are something which are our destination. C5, C6 are the destination. They are DV and quite important also. Now, two things here. Priyanka, we never focus on the dependent variable. We focus on the independent variable. Priyanka, if you want a good job, you will not focus on the job. Probably you should focus on the publications in enhancing your skills, your communication skills, etc. Job is an outcome of that. How can you work on the job? You should work on the factors that lead to job. So, but here it is also saying that job also has effect on your communication, on your other things. The reverse is also true, which is not taken in the ISM. But here, unlike that, this is also influence. Think about the practical life scenario in your case and find out, are your IDVs really independent or they also depend on something else, particularly dependent variable? Please see to that. So this is the independent variable, first block. Second block is intervening, and third is the dependent. This is autonomous, or you can leave that. This way you can answer it better, Priyanka. Any other questions?
Okay, I think that's useful. What I would request you all is when you're typing a question, please type full question rather than being monosyllabic in nature. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to understand. And the professor is spending so much time to explain every question in detail.
Yeah.
But sir, I'll go ahead and ask this question. I don't know if this makes sense or not.
Yes, sir.
This question says second order constructs are here. I can't make out anything about this.
Second order is not there because here all the variables are taken individually, C1 to C7, C1 to C7. I gave you a hint. When you make a diagram, those who are overlapping, probably when you collect the data, might be they will become as the highly correlated and hence second order. In DeMaTEL, there is no concept of second order. I'm just connecting. If you make a diagram from here, some conceptual diagram, something, and collect the data, those who are very, very close, they will most likely, they will go for highly correlated and hence they should be second order. Anything else, sir?
The next question is from Nancy. Here, all the arrows are of same width, which means they are not showing which are high and low effect.
No.
Just like we do it in fuzzy diagram.
No, absolutely not. All the arrows width will be same. Here, all are one, and meaning of the one is effect is exactly the same. Their effect is exactly the same. The width of the arrow will be same, exactly same. Anything else?
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
One is, if we look into this particular diagram of the C1 to C7, the table that you have shown here with the using calculation for normalized initial direct relationship metrics.
Yes, sir.
Typically, what we have seen is there are how many 24 minus 4, 25 minus 4, so 5 by 5. So having a value of 1. Then what I also see is that C1 and C7, all values are 0. So does it signify anything, or how do we interpret this? Or should C1 and C1 be removed, as C7 is not influencing any factor and no factors are influencing C1?
Okay. The first thing is don't take this particular data very seriously. It's only from the two experts. From the two experts, no meaningful conclusions can be drawn. The more will be the experts, the values will change. However, if you find there is something which is like C7, not influencing anyone and not influenced by anyone, obviously in your priority. Now, can you see there is a paradox? The C7 I have not taken from the experts. Do you remember here? This I have taken on the basis of the 200 people, which answer 206 people said this is also one of the important. Now, irony here is the experts don't believe so. According to expert, they are not really important. So that C1 is not influencing and no arrow is towards or from C1. But for the other users, that was important. But here what you will say? You will say it's not important as per the experts. You can drop it. That's it. But in the interpretation, you will say this is not influencing and not influencing. You can just skip that part. So any hospital administration might like to skip the pharmacist related section and other things you focus attention. But again, it's data from two people only. So real data might change. Anything else?
Yeah, understand. Yeah. If you go back to your the paint in which you have written about the 3 methods for the collection, you said SLR, experts, or user survey.
Yes, sir.
Now, these are something after we have taken the 7 factors, as in this particular paper, the example. Or is it for selecting the factors?
It is for selecting the factor.
Okay.
For selecting the factor, we have the 3 methods. The first is we can do SLR and take it. Second is you can go for the experts, ask them what are the factors. And the second time we will go to the experts for getting who has an effect on whom. And third is the survey method. Like this paper.
But there'll be n number of factors as well, right? So how do we prioritize that we should take only the top ones, say 7 of them, and not many?
No, not 7. You can do DeMaTEL on 10 by 10, 20 by 20. You have to see the content validity part, whatever you are working, whether all the important things have been considered. Maybe you can use experts for that or previous literature for that. So maybe you can make some inclusion exclusion criteria, like this must be given in at least 5 papers, or some criteria you need to make to include factors. To make the factors, the 3 are the methods.
And then for the, I think in the beginning you also mentioned about using a Likert scale like a 5-point or a 7-point.
That is for the survey method. So
For
this
the survey
particular
method,
paper,
okay.
yeah, this
Uh-huh.
particular paper has used that method, 5-point. So they went for the survey that which are the important, and on the 5-point scale, values more than 4 or highest values 7 they have taken.
Okay, okay.
Could have taken 10 also.